Notice anything different about me today? Yeah, I was about ready to throw myself into a meat grinder because my old wind turbine blades won't work, so they got new ones. Look guys, I got new wind turbine blades. And they rotate. See, look, watch. So like you can, so instead of being like thin, they'll be thick like this. But now right now I'm gonna fold them. So this is like the braked mode, basically. Right now the turbine is in brake mode, which means the blades, when you look at it down like the hub, it's gonna look thin. The blades are gonna look very thin. Alright, I want to watch a video called "What Made Machinarium Great." Now, if you don't know, if you've not played Machinarium, it is a little fun adventure game. It's like what? I bought it for $6, or $7 on iOS. It's a little bit pricey for an iOS game, comparing it to usually like $3 price. Oh no. I need to get back to base. I need more fuel. Anyway, this game, what is Machinarium? Machinarium is a puzzle game. It was released in 2009 by Animated Design. Yep, I was right, Animated Design. It is such a fun little game. You gotta play it. It's so cute.
So, today I'm going to talk about a game that's very near to my heart. Machinarium.
Or whatever it's called.
The 2009 point-and-click adventure game from Amanita Studios. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about a game 11 years after its original release. An underrated gem from the golden age of gaming. A wholesome, captivating experience about a cute little robot in a mechanical society. 2009 was a big year. It released alongside gaming giants
Modern Warfare 2. Man, Modern Warfare 2, Borderlands 1, Minecraft. What a year for gaming. That was the best gaming year ever. Did Minecraft release? The first edition was made in May of 2009. Let's see, Borderlands. Not Borderlands fandom, Borderlands. Let's see, where was it? Release date April 3rd, 2019. No, that's Borderlands 3, dog. 97% like the first game. Jesus. Or was it? It's a 2009, yeah. That came out in 2009. What a hell of a year. Terraria was 2011 though. Yep, May of 2011. That was correct. But yeah, 2009 was a banger year. That was 4 though.
Some captivating It released alongside gaming giants like Left 4 Dead 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Minecraft, to critical acclaim. Kotaku named it runner-up for PC Game of the Year 2009. but it lost to Empire Total War. To me, it's the quintessential indie game. It was originally developed by 7 people and started out as a Flash game. Despite such high prestige in the world of critics, as a 16-year-old male, none of my friends were talking about it. We were all in Call of Duty.
This song comes from the garden section of the game.
Skins. We were killing and knifing and obliterating each other with nukes. Looking back, I regret that my friends likely never got the chance to play this game. Like for most people, that age was difficult, and Machinarium offered a brief respite from the world. For this video, I'm going to try and slow things down. I'm going to talk in an even cadence, while I let some ambience from the game play in the background. I'm going to let some visuals roll, while I try
a song
not to
called The
spoil
Butterfly in the
any
Greenhouse.
Puzzles. We'll talk about spoilers later, in another section. But I hope that you join me on this dissection of probably one of my favorite games.
Yeah, it's probably my top 10, probably top 20 games. Again, I want to say it. I don't know if I'd say it's my top 10 games, to be fair. I mean, to be honest, it's a puzzle game. I don't hate puzzle games. I actually really love them. But it's kind of, there's almost like, it's not even fair to compare a puzzle game and like a shooter like COD or a game like Astroneer. They're two completely different games. One has more gameplay mechanics, in my opinion.
Machinarium is set in a sci-fi world. Sci-fi is a genre that a lot of people tend to interpret in a bleak way. It's oftentimes very futuristic and utilitarian, with sharp edges and dark colors. These developers, on the other hand, deliberately chose to make imprecise backdrops. The lead artist, Adolf Lochman, used his left hand for most of the artwork in the game, in order to achieve a less technical visual style.
Yeah, that had
when you close your eyes and you think of sci-fi or cyberpunk, you probably think of neon and dark colors with hard edges.
But in this game, it was like kind of old,
technology
just
far
old
off from anything achievable today. But Machinarium took a different approach. If you look at the color palettes for a lot of the backdrops, it's all earthy tones. There's a lot of rounded edges, especially in the architecture. It's all full of whimsy. It gives a more welcoming environment. It's more pleasing to the eye and friendly, and I believe it plays well with the characters that you meet. It's a world of oil cans and rail cars. It certainly takes steampunk influences. Despite being comprised entirely of robots,
I think that's
the cast of
the
characters is oozing personality. Each character is thoughtfully designed to convey a certain aesthetic. And that was really important, because there's not a single line of dialogue. When you're first interacting with characters, you get an idea of the type of personality that they have just by their design. So in that way, I think it was a success.
The sound design? I love the sounds in this game. I recently just did a playthrough. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to play through it.
If the visuals set the stage for the Machinarium world, Floex did a great job expanding upon it. I've heard that many Machinarium fans still, nearly a decade after the fact, listen to the soundtrack. Spotify has the monthly listen count at around 30,000 for the game soundtrack, with Floex himself having around 50,000. It won 2009 Best Soundtrack from PC Gamer, and I don't really think it's a surprise. The album had a very interesting combination of classical instruments, ambience, and robotic vocaloids for good measure. It really did a lot to expand upon the whole vibe of the world.
Oh, full Astronium
like,
can.
With every listen, I'm discovering new details that I didn't notice before, which I can't quite say is something that I've ever had happen with another soundtrack. It's such an interesting combination of sounds, and each track has its own unique personality. The glass house with the butterfly is a standout for me personally. It has a dreamy feeling. It's very airy. The soundtrack dances flawlessly between complicated soundscapes and breakbeat style trippy songs like Mr. Handigoat. It's honestly so varied that it's really impossible for me not to listen all the way through once I start, which I feel like is saying something. One of my favorite songs in the game isn't even in the soundtrack. It's a scene in the town square after you solve a puzzle. Let's take a listen.
Yes! Ah, I'm so off topic. I love that. The robot band. That was good.
It's really difficult for me to find the words to describe exactly why I like this song. I think the way the drums interplay with the warbling of the vuvuzela is very cool. The way the kick drums open up in the middle and start driving the bass line, or the constantly evolving melody of the clarinet, it just comes together really cleanly, and it's amazing that this is just a side piece of the game. If the player chooses, they could completely bypass this song, but I think for most people, they'd probably stay to listen. I personally think it's probably one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and it's honestly a massive source of inspiration to me. Which is why I was ecstatic when they released the Astroneer remixed album. A collaboration between a bunch of other music producers like Orbital and 65 Days of Static. There's a lot to unpack here, and I really don't want to do it for this video. I think if you're interested in this soundtrack, then you should check out the remixed album. I thought it was phenomenal, and it brought a lot of new life into tracks that I've probably listened to way too much, to be honest. I loved it, and I thought it was super refreshing. So I highly recommend giving it a shot. So, from here on out, I'm going to discuss some plot details. If you have yet to pick up the game, I suggest stopping here and doing so. Machinarium has a simple story. I'm not going to pretend that there's a lot here in this short 3-hour game. But I think there are some
You
interesting
play it like an
themes
hour
that
and
many
20
people
if you are
miss.
pretty fast.
In Machinarium, the player takes the role of Yosef, a robot looking for his girlfriend. While Yosef is a heroic boyfriend, he also takes the role of a mender. Throughout each level, he's going out and solving problems for other people, with few exceptions. I believe the game's core theme is about exploring the duality between cold logic and something much more human. Machinarium is a story about a robot society, but it is also effectively a story about humanity. Throughout each level, players are given ways in which to connect emotionally with Yosef, his plight, and the people, robots, around him. A lot of times, characters within Machinarium are confined to a robotic set of tasks. The town square is the most obvious example. At the center of the town square is a large clock. When that clock strikes a certain time,
everything
a
that
robot
people
will
do.
enter the church. Yosef can turn the clock to a certain time, and a robot practitioner will enter the church despite maybe even just doing so a few minutes prior. I believe this explores the theory of free will in a society made of machines. It's a warning against mindless programmed behavior. In this example, people are sitting around waiting for their time to enter a church, while a man sits at the center of the square in a wheelchair. It isn't until Yosef arrives that the man is helped and then able to move about.
There it is.
Yosef represents a break in the day-to-day monotony of their predefined roles. Because Yosef isn't absent-mindedly waiting around for the clock to strike a certain time, he's Another example involves the street band from earlier. If a player were to assume a role of pure disconnected logic, they would be unable to progress in the game. Despite having no logical connection to the plot, helping the street band fix their instruments moves the plot forward by unraveling an unpredictable sequence of events in which Yosef ends up acquiring a plant. It is only because Yosef and the player use empathy that they are able to move forward. I believe even the Black Hat gang, the primary antagonists of the game, are acting in programmed behavior. They constantly portray cartoonishly evil behavior, like kicking over a sandcastle, for no explainable reason other than to simply be evil. Also, while doing some research, I realized that I was pronouncing his name Yosef, but it actually starts with a J, so I guess it's Joseph. So I'm gonna correct that now. Perhaps a less metaphorical example involves the progression throughout the game. Joseph literally started his journey at the bottom. If the game couldn't be any more clear, the track that plays through the beginning sequence is called The Bottom. As Joseph works his way throughout the city, he's progressing vertically until he reaches the tower.
You do make a good point. Yeah, you have to get to this giant tower.
In the track. This is the highest point in the city. He only makes it here because he's helped people along the way, who have in turn assisted him with certain obstacles. We also learn that Joseph lives in a feudalistic society and is enslaved, along with his girlfriend, by a king. It isn't until the Black Hat gang pulls him out of his routine that Joseph starts his quest. Interestingly, the final puzzle sequence in the game involves freeing the king from a mental prison that the Black Hat gang has put him in. Once he has freed the king frees Joseph, and Joseph frees his girlfriend and leaves the city. The other thing that I think is interesting is the distribution of wealth in the city. When we start the game, it's clear that the world is filled with junk. It's potentially a result of global warming, because the surrounding area looks barren and without life. The city itself is a collection of repurposed scrap. While it's comfortable and homey, it's also rather run down. However,
I'll
the
say it is
castle
run down.
itself is very posh. It's lined with trophy heads, with long red carpets and chandeliers. In the castle, we meet a robot who is taken from his homeworld and hung up like a trophy.
From Samurott.
Leading us to believe that the king is an amoral and cruel imperialist. But what do the people below think about this? There's no signs of rebellion or outrage about their place in society. And that programmed behavior I mentioned earlier? Well, the king is shown wearing a massive headset. It kind of looks like VR. But the purpose of this device is never explained. Could this device be some form of control? Ultimately, I think the story is really up to your interpretation. If I were to play this game maybe next year or a couple months from now, my interpretation would probably be a lot different than the way I'm seeing it right now. That's why I'm really interested to hear what y'all's thoughts are. So if you could leave a comment down below with your interpretation of this story, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, I didn't really want to make this a long video, but there's just so much to talk about. Machinarium is a true masterpiece. I had a lot of fun revisiting it while in quarantine, and I think it's probably a really good game for that purpose. I was surprised to find out just how many ports there were. In fact, just a couple months ago, they released their Xbox port. I think it just goes to show how much of a timeless classic Machinarium is. It really inspired a love of point-and-click puzzle games, and I know I'm not the only one to say that. So, anyway, I hope this video inspired you to pick it up.
The original trailer has 9 million views. Holy.
Rekindled some fond memories of an old puzzle game. Anyway, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. That would really help me out. Thanks for watching. Peace.
By the way, if you guys have ever played Machinarium, or if you want more games by, hello, I recommend Botanicula, whatever that game is. It's on iOS. They're not really that expensive. They're pretty cheap games. I actually do recommend them. They're really fun to play. It's really great to just kind of like escape from the world and just go into one of these puzzle games. I like them. Oh, it's a junction. We don't need that. No. Ugh. Look at that. Another thing out of context, you know what I really wish I could see? There's a very... There's a rare AR-15 variant, or like M16. It's not really a public thing, but it's like, or I don't know why I said public. It's actually not really like a completely like released version. It's an experimental version where instead of plastic grips, it's wood. So like the AR-15, take the AR-15 and basically take like the plastic front of the AR-15 and turn it into wood, and take the stock and turn it into wood. That's cool. I want to see one of those in person. Dude.
I have no idea how long the movie is. Hopefully it's just...
This Jack Doherty. Oh man, this guy.
2023
This guy stinks, dude.
My own little YouTube rewind where I go back through the internet's most insufferable worms from this year.
Okay, you know what, YouTube? I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry if it's bad. You know what? This guy is awful. I don't care, like, who you are. This guy's terrible. I'm gonna not beat around the bush. Who is Jack Doherty? He didn't do that much things, you might ask. Oh, who is he? I'll tell you. Well, imagine a guy who goes out and pranks people, and not only does that, but when they try to fight back, has their bodyguards defend them. That is a actual, like, that's a wuss move. Let's just be honest. Let's not beat around the bush. He would be completely pulverized if it wasn't for his bodyguards. These type of people with this complex absolutely annoy the hell out of me, because it just shows that they cannot take on people who are just bigger than themselves, and that's not really the main core of it. Like, you know, if you're not strong, that's one thing, but if you're just gonna be that one person that just goes out of their way to completely be a jerk and completely ruin other people's days, and when they try to defend themselves, actually use your bodyguards, that's just low, dude. It's almost as low as it gets, buddy.
Haven't previously covered, and I make fun of them now. Yesterday it was Illuminati on the shopping.
This guy is a clown.
Shooting spitballs at Jack Doherty. Jack Doherty's infamy online reached its crescendo about a month ago, hitting its peak, mainly because he became known as just this punching bag. His face was a knuckle sandwich magnet, so most of his viral clips were him getting slapped or being involved in some kind of fight that broke out, because he truly is just an insufferable asshole to be around.
He is.
Make no mistake, don't misconstrue my words, Jack Doherty isn't the one fighting. He's the one getting beat like a drum, and I don't think I've ever seen him throw anything beyond one wet noodle punch that didn't connect. He usually has his bodyguards fight his battles before.
That's just pathetic, dude.
He starts and instigates. But he's around fights all the time. It's just, when you get near Jack Doherty, it's like a Dementor. It sucks the fun out of everything, and everyone gets uncomfortable and mad at him. He just has this indescribable X-Men mutation about him that makes him impossible to be around while also being in a good mood. So I'm going to go ahead and show you his most viral clip that ever came out from him, the legacy for which he will always be remembered. This is his magnum opus. Go!
Guys, look funny!
What? Little pop, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Oh, man!
This is Jack's iconic...
Oh, I'm sorry. This guy, as Penguins puts it, this guy has a punchable face, and I cannot stand people with this attitude. What are you gonna do? Well, sadly, the guy is gonna do nothing because you're too much of a wuss to fight people. not saying fighting's the right thing at the end of the day. I don't think that should be done at this case. I'm saying right now, this guy's being a little wuss. You know what? Like, you're gonna give heat, but you can't take it. You know, I usually don't like to use this term because it's overused and it's kind of blown out of proportion. This guy's a snowflake, dude. This guy is a pure snowflake at the biggest level conceivable. I mean, if you're gonna be like this, you better be ready to actually take some heat and actually, you know, get some retribution, because this guy cannot realize that when it gets too hot, you need to stay the hell out of the kitchen.
Where he walks around causing a ruckus, just being this menace to
like this guy
harassing people, and then trying to get a rise out of them. The second someone looks like they're ready to get confrontational with Jack, he has his security guards swoop in and stop it. Just put the kibosh on it immediately. He travels with his bodyguards that are basically his babysitters, his nannies, really his guardian angels. They're the only thing that's kept him alive this long, because he is such a piece of shit. Everybody wants to fight him when he does things like this. But his bodyguards protect him. And he still has the gall, the fucking chutzpah, to stand behind his bodyguards, peek his head over, and continue to insult the person. He actually looks like a cartoon villain out of Popeye. Like, look at the way he conducts himself. It's so bad. This would be the most embarrassing.
When you signed up for pet insurance, you didn't sign
pet insurance? Is there gonna be like, I accidentally had diarrhea in my car and I need to replace the insurance? How many insurances do we need?
Moment to somebody else, but for Jack, it's his proudest moment. Now, when it comes to insulting Jack Dorky here, I actually have skin in this game. Just like an 80s action movie tagline, this time it's personal. When I say he is insufferable to be around, I'm not just basing that off of the videos I see of him. I actually know Jack Doherty in real life. In fact, he was in one of my videos 4 years ago, but you probably didn't know that because I did my absolute best to edit him out of it. It's from a video 4 years ago when the local Tampa Police Department challenged me to complete their police academy. This was during the time where I was watching live PD and talking about police activity, making jokes about it. They invited me out there to try it myself. Well, Jack Doherty actually happened to be there on that same day. Despite my best efforts to rewrite history, you can't fully erase the stain. You can see the cringe scripted right there in the yellow shirt. This is a young Jack Doherty spotting. At the time of filming that video, Jack would have been 16 years old. And I know it's not exactly cool to bully a child, but this wasn't a child, this was a demon. It's not just me that had an extremely negative impression of Jack on that day. Matt, Andrew, Tiana, and the officers all had nothing good to say about their experience being around Jack Doherty for like the 6 hours we were there. He was one of the most disrespectful people I had ever seen in person. For some reason, he was extremely loud most of the day, so anytime he tried to talk, he'd kind of yell it at the officers or anyone he was talking to, I suppose. It was like he was trying to get into a screaming match on an Xbox Live lobby for no reason. Like, I think that was just him trying to be hype for his video or something, but man, it was extremely annoying. But beyond that, anytime we were about to do one of the tests, or if the officers were trying to tell us something about one of the tests, he'd be like interrupting them frequently, and the yelling was giving me a goddamn headache. Like, none of us had anything positive to say about Jack. The only thing is, we all understood that he was a child. He found internet fame extremely young. So clearly that had a poisonous effect on his mind, and we had all just kind of expected that he's going through a phase, most likely he'd eventually grow out of this. But not only did he not grow height-wise, he also didn't grow personality-wise.
Height-wise.
His attitude is exactly the same, his face looks exactly the same as when he was a 13-year-old boy, which is highly unlucky for him, and maybe that explains why he lashes out so often. But overall, over the last 4 years, he's just gotten worse. He's gotten more degenerate, more aggressive, more hostile, and he's just a giant piece of shit now. Since he's had internet fame for so long, he truly believes that he is some kind of deity, this kind of internet god, and everyone is beneath him. He thinks he's superior to just the plebeians around him, so he uses all of the strangers he comes in contact with on stream as props for his content.
Outside, we can go start setting up tonight mines, but this place has lithium as a secondary.
So fucking pathetic. But anyway, let's let's dive into a bit more of the Sack Doherty lore.
Sack
He
Doherty.
makes most of his money through OnlyFans. He manages a lot of
Oh.
OnlyFans girls, as well as having an OnlyFans of his own, which I think if you sign up for that, you need to be put on some kind of FBI watch list.
Why?
Because this looks like a child.
Why?
That is a very fucking awful OnlyFans.
Why? Why does he have an OnlyFans? Why?
But he makes all of his money there, basically, and he will never let you forget he is making a lot of money through managing these OnlyFans models. He frequently posts these flexes, talk shit all you want, you wish you could spend this much on your credit card in just 2 weeks, and it's just an absurd amount of money that he's dumping.
I really don't care.
He posts these at least once a week, and it's clearly engagement farming. He's just baiting people into getting mad at him and just shitting on him, because he's realized that that is his formula to success. He'll just cosplay as the communal urinal for the internet to collectively come take a piss in, because it gets him a little money off of like the Twitter post, but maybe it gets him a couple extra OnlyFans subscribers or a few curious kids that'll watch his stream to see what kind of degeneracy unfolds. He's basically playing the villain. He's leaning into the role. I always find this to be an extremely sad path to take, because he is actually just becoming the clown on purpose, and eventually he's going to grow up. It's going to happen at some point.
Maybe he's gonna look back on this and be like, wow.
For him, I imagine, because who in the world would possibly want the legacy of just being the hated douchebag? That is not something to be proud of. Even if you do have a lot of money in your bank account from it, I can't imagine it feels good to explain to your friends and family how you got that money, because everyone dislikes you and makes fun of you. Like, there's no way that that's a rewarding experience. I don't think there's any reason to show you any more of his clips. They're all just infuriating garbage.
Pathetic prankster.
Over the years, I've made fun of a lot of YouTube pranksters, but the truth is, they're risking a lot to make cringe. They really are putting their life on the line for the worst content on the site. There's already been like 5 or 6 major cases where YouTube pranksters have gotten themselves shot and killed. So it's like they're soldiers, but the only thing they fight for is clout. So I'm being genuine when I say that the bravery and commitment to put a smile on the face of absolutely nobody is admirable. And let me tell you, one thing I've learned about the YouTube prankster douchebags is no price is too high for them in the pursuit of attention, because they use mommy and daddy's credit card to buy everything for them for their content, all the gear they need. But one thing that's always sanded my ass is the fact that the pranksters themselves always seem extremely sensitive. So when they're doing pranks and someone responds aggressively to it, they immediately fall back onto
it's just a prank, bro.
You know,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
getting all mad, you're overreacting, that kind of shit. They literally become a Pokemon, and the only thing they can say is it's just a prank, bro. And then they start to like try and shame the person for being upset, even though some of the pranks are just downright crimes, like the.
Dude, are you kidding me? Dude, calm down. It's just a prank, bro. I only rushed you with a knife and brandished a firearm, and I pointed it towards you. It's just a prank, dude. Stupid idiot, lol. Literally most pranksters. Like, dude, what? You're getting mad because I'm being a provocative butthole and absolutely making everybody around me suffer? Yeah, it's just a prank, bro. You're mad. Mad.
Fake stabbing prank where they go up to someone with a knife and pretend they're about to kill them, literally murder them.
Oh, yes. That is so funny, man. You know what, guys? I gotta tell you about this story, man. I love it when people go out. You know, it was so funny. This guy came up to me with a knife, and I thought I was gonna die and lose my life and die early. And he said, "Oh, it was just a prank." I'm like, we all laughed, and yeah. But on a serious note, if you do this, I don't care who you are. You are dumb if you do that. That's an actual crime, okay? Trying to charge somebody. I actually can't believe I have to say this in 2024. That is a stupid thing to do. That is how you get shot, especially in America. Because here's the thing. They don't know that the knife is fake, okay? And they're going to assume it's real. Rightfully so. Because, you know, imagine who goes up to you and charges you with a knife only to have it be fake, right? But here's the thing. People like that react in the best decision for themselves, because if you think about it, right, if you think you're being charged with a knife, right, one person's gonna die. In their brain, it's like, who would rather go? Would it be the person who's committing a crime or the person that follows the law? And they're gonna try and defend themselves. And unfortunately, that has happened in the past. People have died from these pranks. My idea of a prank is going into public and going into cash, like, not where cash, going into, I'm gonna go into a bunch of gas stations and say, hey, can you take this $2 bill, just to be silly, and give them a $2 bill and say, can I have 2 ones, please? And that way, because it's like, the $2 bill is kind of like a joke almost in America, but it's a real piece of currency. Just kind of put a smile on their face. Not only will it be kind of funny as a little lighthearted, not harmful prank, but, you know, the cashier might be able to keep a $2 bill. It might actually make people happy.
They're like, what are you doing? We're just kidding. It's just a joke. What are you? Oh my, this is, you fucking goofball. We were just making a good TikTok video. It's so embarrassing. Then watching the prankster try and play the victim here, they get offended that someone got upset at their prank. And so today there's a video that's going viral from a prankster where he was doing some stupid shit on the beach. It's ultimately harmless. It's just not entertaining. Like, it's just a lame prank. But someone did respond negatively to it and ended up snatching the mic out of his hand and throwing it in. And the prankster got so butthurt about it that he called the police, and then the police took the guy's side who threw the mic, so then the prankster and his friend got trespassed, and he still
Yes!
about it.
Sorry, I just seen you over here, and I just thought I had to stop and just ask you if I could get your phone number. Sorry.
With her boyfriend, dog. Come on.
I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize you were...
Yeah, you're so funny. I'm laughing right now.
You guys have a good day. I'm sorry.
Dude, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I really wish I had a girlfriend, but I'm not so desperate as to walk up to a dude or a girl with his... Oh, wow, my gender and pronouns are so off right now. I apologize. Walking up to a girl with her man and saying, hey, can I get your number? That's just low, my dude. Like, come on. Girl's taken. Deal with it. That's a lot of globes. And he's wearing a Your Man As a shirt. That's cool.
That's really the gist.
Just so insufferable, man.
Here, it's just wearing stupid shirts like Your Man Is a Pussy, or the other one they wear is Threesome, and then they just go up to random.
This guy got bullied in school and he's jealous.
So in this one, it was just hitting on this girl in front of her boyfriend/husband.
I just seen you over here, and I thought you were beautiful, and I was just wondering if I could have your phone number. You wanna get smacked? Wait, are you with her?
Yup. Wanna get smacked?
No.
Ooh.
Why?
Why?
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can we just shake on it? I'm sorry.
So they just do a whole tour of the beach, saying lame shit to a bunch of different people, trick-or-treating.
That guy's about to put this dude in his place.
Fake a giggle and then just shoo them away like some kind of stray animal. And then a couple people respond negatively, like this guy and the previous guy, who are pretty tired of them just bothering everyone and being a general nuisance on the beach.
It was just a joke, sir. You're bothered.
No.
Why?
That's called Don't Be an Asshole.
For what?
Feel free to keep it together with Bamboo HR.
This guy knows that...
Well, now.
Okay, you know what? Even the stupidest person on earth can go up to a girl and see that they're with a dude and say, hey, maybe this girl's taken. Maybe it would be rude of me to ask for her number. Unless she's like polyamorous or something, I don't know. Which, you know, you don't know until you ask her.
For what? Was it because of my shirt?
Yeah, you're harassing people, dude.
You can't.
Yes! Nope. Moment of silence. This guy. Hi. This guy, respect. I have so much respect for this man. Yes, this guy, if I find him out on the street, I'm going to find him and buy him a drink. I'm going to find him and say, you know what, dude, it's on me. Because guess what? If you don't know who the guy viewing, there's this prankster going out and pranking people, and this guy just took his mic, ripped it out of his hands, and threw it into the ocean. Like a $200 mic. Absolute legend. Like, this guy was going up to people saying, hey, can I get your number? When they were with their husbands. Or, hey, like, I can't talk. And he was wearing this shirt that said, your man is a... See, you know what I'm trying to say? Just being a complete insufferable person. And he just got pwned for it. Let's go. Absolutely what this guy deserved. He's crying about it, too. Man, I voice crack way less than this.
Very sad self-defense coping mechanism. I know it's some armchair psychologist analysis.
Absolute legend.
God damn it, it's super clear. He is upset that his mic just got thrown in the ocean.
Let's go.
And his first response is to try and sarcastically throw a temper tantrum so that way the guy knows it's not bothering him. That's why he's super over the top with that, like, sophomore year high school drama club thespian kind of shit.
It's called Pathetic Pranks by Penguins, if you're gonna wonder.
Because again, it's in public, there's a lot of people looking at him now. It's just so shameless, but anyway. A lot of brain rot takes came from this where people are saying, well, actually, the prankster's in the right.
No, he's being a jerk.
You can't just snatch something out of someone's
What? These same people will get mad if this prank was pulled on them. I'm calling it. Again, my idea, I'm planning on doing an April Fool's joke, where on April 1st, I'm going to go around the gas stations and with a bunch of $2 bills and either spend stuff or say, can I get like two $1 bills as a joke? Because in America, the $2 bill is kind of like a little funny thing to know. People think they're like insanely rare, but they're very common. Just go to the bank. I've ordered, what, $200 of them once? They're not rare at all. They're actually very common. They're still making them today. There's a video on my channel where I found two bands of beautifully fresh, you know, freshly minted bills.
And I just gotta tell you, that is some pussy shit. I'm gonna hit you with the cold water. That is some bubble blowing double baby Weenie Hut Jr. nonsense.
SpongeBob movie stuff.
He was provoking people on the beach. The whole point of the content is to do these lame ass incendiary pranks to try and get a rise out of strangers for the sake of your content to capitalize off the ad revenue. That's the entire gross little machine of cloud that they try and peddle. So this guy just swooping in and throwing the mic in the ocean, I think is a totally fine response. Again, they started this shit and he just finished it. Now they're out $600.
$600, owie. Man, that's like... That would suck.
Some shit, and this man came through and he cleaned it all up. Fed them their vegetables. And I understand the prankster's doing his best to mask his hurt feelings, but he quickly drops that facade.
I'm bleeding. This guy assaulted me. He took my mice, $600. Hey, you know, okay.
Yes, this makes me so happy. People are standing up to him. Say no to these useless pranks.
Damn, his whole tone and attitude.
Man, he's getting pawned right now.
I think this is footage that you probably should have scrubbed from the video. This shouldn't have made the final cut because you're looking like a real whiny bitch right now with this part. You're threatening to press charges on this guy?
No, you started it. Now he finished it. Deal with it. That's karma, and it hurts, doesn't it?
You are the prankster.
Yeah, here's the thing. You started shit, he ended it. Period. End of the day. You were being a little jerk, and he basically pawned your ass. Alright? Now, deal with it. Crybaby.
Level of responsibility, right? The whole point of your gag is to make people upset at you. So you really can't be acting this way when something like this inevitably...
Oh, yeah. So when he gets upset, it's not fine. But when other people get upset, it's funny. Yeah, I see. I don't need to have 4 inches of hair in less than a month. Oh, I need to go, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go because I need to get to school. I got an hour to get to school. It takes me 30 minutes and 30 minutes to eat. And it's like, yeah. Alright, guys.